So all over the news the past couple of days, there has been this story about a 69-year-old woman, Shirley Teeter, who was allegedly punched by a Trump supporter at a rally. People are coming out and saying it is truly evidence of Trump supporters being deplorable, as Hillary accuses them of being, and how this is deeply reflective of what a Trump presidency will look like. Now, if we're going to play this game and conflate the actions of a man's millions of supporters to his individual conscience and feelings, then sure, I'll play it and say that Hillary supporters' actions are a stark testimony to how she will be in office. A liar and a scammer. There have been over 100 fake hate crimes over the past decade, and they are only getting more prominent as Hillary-supporting groups like Black Lives Matter, feminist coalitions, and anti-Trump protesters fight to be in the victim limelight. Because of this new trend, I wasn't surprised at all to hear that all these headlines on every single major news site and news show about a poor, frail little 69-year-old woman being punched didn't exactly line up with reality and didn't really have much evidence supporting them. While touting this woman's old age and oxygen tank disability, the mainstream media failed to mention that Richard Campbell, the man who allegedly punched Shirley Teeter, is a 73-year-old legally blind man with cataracts who is being guided by his wife out of the crowd. If it weren't for these news sites that do real journalism like Breitbart, I never would have known this. After reading the first 5 articles I saw about this case, I thought it was some young punk and was pretty upset about his actions at the rally. I'm glad I looked into it though and discovered that not only was this man not some young punk, but he has come out to testify that this woman made up the entire story. And of course, there is video. According to an interview with Breitbart News, Campbell's attorney Ruth Smith stated that she grabbed him and he didn't even see her. She has made up the whole thing. The video isn't very clear, but if you watch closely, you actually see Campbell stumbling on the curb, and he is very clearly unable to see what is around him. You then see the woman, Shirley Teeter, come up behind him and grab his shoulder, pulling him back. Then he went to get her off him, and she fell. I'm not gonna lie, if I were blind and walking through a group of hostile people screaming at me, who then grabbed me out of nowhere, I would not have been as composed as Campbell at all. I'd be flailing limbs. When looking at pictures taken after the incident, Teeter has no visible injuries at all and looks totally okay. The whole situation is so suspect and never should have been reported the way it was by the mainstream media. Some of these headlines didn't even include the word alleged. They just took her word for it. Luckily, it looks like Campbell is taking this to court and is even considering suing Teeter for her slander. The video isn't that great, but honestly, all the evidence I've seen so far and the track record of alleged hate crimes from the left leads me to believe that Campbell is probably innocent. As much as I'm sure he could make a great swing with those fists, I'm not going to downplay the impacts of being legally blind, nor do I have any evidence that this man would take punches at a little old lady, other than the testimony of a radical liberal protester that is backed up by zero evidence. I look forward to seeing more information come out and hope that people see this video or at least read the Breitbart article, because the narrative the press is spinning right now is utterly ridiculous and void of any objectivity. It's no wonder people's trust of the mainstream media is at an all-time low. Thanks for watching. Don't miss my show Standoff by clicking here to become a member.